All right, guys, what's good? What's gravy? What's wavy, baby? Back at the movie reviews today, we're going to take a look at The Flash. All right, so the review is going to be a little tinfoil esque. I'll have to dive deeper into that in another episode, but for today, I'll keep it simple. First, I'll start with the fact that this movie, all the trailers and everything, looked absolutely fantastic. So going in, I thought this was the movie that would be closest to Marvel as far as light fun with exciting action and effects. This movie is what people have been asking for from DC, and there it was, right in front of them, and yet every article you saw popping up was how much of a flop this movie was. I didn't see anyone talking about how good the movie was, just constant reporting on this being a massive flop for DC. Why is that the narrative? So I'm not going to present any direct evidence, I'll just ask some questions. It's okay to wonder about movie industries because they don't actually affect our lives unless you're out of touch with reality, which, hey, I get it. Reality bites. After it was announced Ezra Miller would get his solo Flash film, all I began hearing in the news was Ezra Miller is crazy and they're harassing this person and that person. They're out drunk, kidnapping kids, and starting a cult. No joke, there's literally a rumor he started a cult. I'm not even going to get into the minutia of the charges, but a bunch have been dropped, and some of the stories out there got spread by news outlets without much vetting. It was like, hey, this person said all these bad things. That was it. So what's the big deal? This is a strategy you see a lot on some, let's say, opinion-driven news. You report something with a solid potential to not be true. The story just hasn't been vetted, and at first glance, it sounds terrible. This is effective because people don't care about story corrections or even ever see them. On an hour-long show in the last 30 seconds, the host might say, "Oh yeah, that story we made a big deal about the other day actually wasn't accurate. Until tomorrow, guys." The interesting thing is DC gets the worst articles I ever see. There's rarely positive news, and most everything is just fans hated this movie, and they just post reviews, which may or may not be review bombed. Now, I'm not defending Ezra Miller. I'm sure they're non-binary. They're a bit odd, and Ezra has put out that he's been going through mental health issues. So yeah, I'm sure there's some truth, but man, he started a cult. He went to a woman's house he used to sleep with, and she asked them not to smoke, and they turned into an asshole and cussed her out. Why is that in the news? She said, "I never felt physically threatened, but I felt unsafe." Cool, I guess. Again, people are dickheads. Give them millions, and yeah, they're going to become bigger, delusional dickheads. I say all that to say the movie was dope as shit. I feel like most people should know the storyline for Flash and Flashpoint. It's been done on different shows and animations and stuff, but spoiler alerts! So the movie opens with a great scene. Ezra is his awkward Flash, fast-speaking self trying to maintain his caloric intake so he doesn't crash since he burns so many calories, and the barista is talking his ear off. He gets called to clean up after Batman, Ben Affleck Batman, fight some goons, and essentially they destroy the hospital. So Barry has to go rescue everyone from the hospital as it collapses, along with his energy levels. This opening scene was fantastic, entertaining, hilarious, with great visuals. This is ultimately the theme of this review. So we kind of learned Barry has been running faster and faster, and he's been able to pop back in time, usually a day or two. But with the help of his comic book love, Iris West, he hatches a plan to go back in time to save his mother, who was murdered for some reason. He thinks he's figured the workaround by not directly interacting with anyone, but just making a small adjustment to his mom's life. This kind of works, and everything seems great until everything turns to shit. He's now in an alternate universe, and we get to see a fantastic fan service recall. Michael Keaton returns as Batman. I guess you could say, Batman Returns. I'll hold for applause. While he was traveling through time, some creature kind of kicks him out of the time stream and he's thrown into the past. But his mom's alive, and the current Barry is, I think, in college. So the two Barrys have to work together, and this is pretty hilarious because older Barry cannot get through to younger Barry, which pisses him off and gives him a big insight into what it's like dealing with himself. I thought I wouldn't like the fact two Barrys are just existing because I hate time travel tropes, but I enjoyed these two. As the movie progresses, we get to the part in the timeline that Zod is attacking Earth, except in this timeline, Superman does not exist, and Barry realizes metahumans don't exist either. But there are rumors of Russians recovered an alien and were keeping it held in, I don't know, Siberia. So they fly on the Batplane to Russia to execute a rescue mission. This is where we meet Kara, Supergirl. So she's been held in a kryptonite prison from whenever she landed, I guess, but once outside, she's able to regain some strength. She's still very weak, and this is key. Now that they have their alternate universe Justice League, they go to find Zod, and this is where the movie really carries its weight because it becomes like Tom Cruise's Edge of Tomorrow, where they keep losing to Zod because they are simply not strong enough, which is when older Barry begins to realize he has to go back in time and undo what he did, thus killing his mom. This battle scene is also just dope as fuck. The action, the cuts, and the effects just fire all around. Also, this movie had two oh shit moments for me, and one was during the fight. Older Barry does the hand phase through a Kryptonian dude's chest, just killing him. I was like, holy shit! Do it some more, goddammit! Alas, I guess they try and avoid killing people. I'm not going to give out all the spoilers or anything, so I'll leave it there for now. The good for me, pretty much everything was good. I normally hate time travel crap. The Flash TV show was hard for me to keep watching because they were constantly changing the paths, and it's just too much for writers to keep up with because it's never going to make sense because we will never be able to travel back in time because it creates too many paradoxes that simply can't happen. But this movie did a decent job in my opinion. It wasn't like in Endgame where Tony is like, hey, I'll sign time travel, and he has a montage and now everyone can go back in time. Another interesting thing they did with the time travel I liked is Barry reaches the speed of light, he ends up forming this kind of like time bubble, which really reminded me of a wormhole. He can view time from in the bubble, but no one can see him unless he decides to step out. For some reason, I really liked this idea, and the execution was great too. It kind of reminded me a lot of string theory. Ezra Miller did his thing and was thoroughly entertaining. I really hope he gets all the help he needs and that the charges against him were really blown out of proportion. Michael Keaton coming back as Batman was amazing. The old Tim Burton movie theme, the old Batmobile, just nostalgia heaven. I like Sasha Calle as Supergirl. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I thought she did a great job emoting her rage. I didn't realize this is her first film and looks like she just worked on a daytime soap for a while and boom, she gets the role of a lifetime, so good on her. The visual, I think it's pretty obvious. I loved them. It's highly stylized. They did something very weird in this movie that didn't bug me. They shot everything in bright lit scenes. I kept wondering, why does Batman look so goddamn weird? And it's because you never see him in costume during the day. So as a change of pace, I gotta say, I kind of enjoyed it. Also, you can just see all the visual effects that much better. The writing was good in my opinion. The writing on most of these big budget tentpole films is always going to be pretty unimpressive. When you're trying to appeal to everybody, you gotta limit what you talk about and how you present it all. Marvel got so much love because they added lots of humor, which has now gotten a little too far at this point. But I thought Flash entered that same realm of clean, concise writing with well-timed humor to keep the fans engaged. I don't really have anything negative to say, really, except for the end of the movie. I won't spoil that for you, but if you saw it, let me know if you liked the way it ended down below. It ended the only way a true time travel should end, though, so again, they stayed the course there. I watched this show, so I'm not in all the comic book lore, so I don't know what's lore and what's not, but I was really hoping to see Reverse Flash, but I guess maybe that'll happen in another movie, if Ezra gets another shot. I'm still trying to figure out how to rate the movies, but I think a 10-point scale is going to be best for me. 7 is like pretty much most of the Marvel fare. It's just solid, but nothing special. I'd give this an 8 for now. It wasn't perfect, but it didn't have any flaws that took you out of the movie either. A super fun and entertaining movie, executed very, very well. So, don't listen to the news articles, which someone is funding when they come to these celebs, and instead, go check it out for yourself. You won't be disappointed. Until next time, guys. Deuces! Superman, Superman! Oh yeah!